On to the topic at hand. I've been seeing a lot of conversations about NFTs, and I've been following the crypto market since like 2015. So I thought I would give a more concise architecture for this ecosystem that seems to be emerging. Maybe it'll help make something more substantial in the crypto market, or possibly people will just ignore it, or maybe people will get an understanding of what all this stuff is and what's potentially going to come out of this world. So let's start with an asset. In this case, a movie called Gravity. May or may not have seen it. It's actually a pretty good movie from a science perspective, but it can be any digital asset. Music, images, blogs, books, magazines, videos on YouTube, TV shows, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, Twitter posts, anything that is digital and can be sold on the internet. Taking the movie asset, then once it's wrapped in an NFT, the movie can be distributed to anyone. This NFT allows for payments or purchases. Currently, people are only using NFTs to buy and sell digital assets, but there's potential for a lot more, and I'm going to go into that. So a user can use the NFT, in this case, watch the movie, but with the current approach, only previous owners of the NFT can make a profit. In other words, when the first owner that created the NFT sells the NFT, they make that initial profit. But then the second person that sells the NFT, they make a profit, and the original creator makes a profit. So that's the current approach with NFTs. I don't think it's a great approach, but with digital assets, I don't even know what the point of owning something really means. You know, you view it, you watch it, and then you can view it and watch it anytime you want. Owning versus not owning. So I don't really understand the point of owning something in the digital realm. But in an ideal world, somebody creates the digital content, or multiple people create a digital content, and those people should be paid for their work. And then the people that want to consume that digital content can consume that digital content in any which way they want to. So there's no real concept of owning with that process. It's just there. And so, but we want to manage it in a way that ensures that the people that created it get paid, and ensures that the people that want to access it can access it. So if we extend the capabilities of an NFT, or change how NFTs work, we can pay all those that are involved in the creation of a digital asset. We can use smart contracts to define how they get paid. So every person would have a cryptocurrency wallet, and then they would create a smart contract between the NFT and their individual wallets. Each contract defines how much money each person gets. For example, the producer gets 10% of any profit that comes towards the NFT. The director gets 5% of that profit. Each writer gets 3%. Then each actor gets a percentage based on their screen time. Then you have all the other workers that help make the movie. They get contracts as well, each representing a percentage of their effort that they put into making the movie. But if we step to the other side of this transaction, we can allow others to use the digital asset without buying it. Or we can allow them to actually buy the asset. But buying it would be more of a lifetime access to said digital asset, or perhaps grant more ways to use the asset like download it to their personal device or make a copy of it, or maybe allow them to create a trailer or perhaps edit and create a version of the movie that they want, like removing foul language or removing, bloody scenes, or, softening or darkening those scenes, basically made for TV kind of editing, or maybe it's a super long movie and somebody wants to see a shortened version of it, that kind of stuff. But in the scenario I'm presenting, we have a streaming media company that wants to make it easier for the end user to access the movie. So the streaming media company would set up a smart contract with the NFT wrapped movie that says something like, for every view you have to pay X amount of dollars, and maybe it's like pennies on the dollar as opposed to, like multiple dollars. And that would get automatically paid to the NFT from the streaming company. Then the user sets up a smart contract so that they can view the movies on the streaming service. Their smart contract would say something along the lines of, I pay $15 a month and I get unlimited access to the movies. Then the owner would set up a contract with the streaming service. The money that the streaming service sees would then pay out to the owner based on their smart contract, something like maybe 5% of the profits, or maybe the smart contract would be something like it would pay the NFT first, and then, based on the user watch experience for the month, it would pay out all the movies that they watched, and then whatever's left over goes to the owner of the streaming platform, or all the workers on the streaming platform. But why would we want to do all of this if we already have all this capability? We have a streaming, Netflix is out there, Plex, as I'm highlighting in this video. The owners get paid, the movie makers get paid. All of this stuff already exists. Why do we really need a new way of doing this? That's where blockchain comes in. Currently, it's a manual process to set up all of these steps. The owner has to hire an accountant. The accountant has to figure out how to distribute the money based on the various contracts. And then when the money comes in, they have to do accounting. They have to figure out if they made enough, if they can pay all the licenses to all the movies that they've licensed. Then they have to figure out how much money the employees get paid. You have to set up a payment processor on the front end. The credit card companies have to, transfer the money in, and they only do it when they do their accounting. So it's a lot of manual work in the current architecture of the way these things are done. On top of that, the movie itself, they generally don't pay the actors, the writers, and all the various people that put work into the movie. They pay them up front. So this is an upfront cost that the producers have to be able to fund. And they have to pay them based on what they think the movie is actually going to make. Where if we flip all of this around, blockchain automates all of the accounting. Once all the smart contracts are set up, the money moves around automatically. This automation makes it easier to pay everyone in the chain of the creation of this asset. This means less upfront costs. The producers no longer have to say, well, we estimate that this money is going to make X amount of dollars, so we'll pay you this and hope it makes it. They say, well, we're going to pay you a minimum amount of money, and you'll see X percentage of profits that this movie makes. So let's say the actor is no longer getting paid an upfront salary. They get paid, let's say, $30 an hour, for their time spent on the job. And then when the movie gets published, they'll make 5% on all the sales. And so the actor may make $10 because the movie flops, or the actor may make $1 million or hundreds of millions of dollars, depending upon how good the movie is received. So this no longer forces production companies to guess and try and force the movie to be successful by hiring big name stars that will hopefully bring in lots of money, or by clinging to a franchise that has made money in the past, and even though they'll screw it up in the future, hopefully will make some money. You can now say, well, I'm going to pay you the minimum to get the job done, but you'll hopefully make a lot of money if this is a successful movie. And from the production company's standpoint, this means a lot less risk, which means they'll be willing to take more risks in other areas. Now that their initial cost is low, they can say, well, we'll take a risk on a franchise that nobody's ever heard of. We don't know if it'll do well, but we're not spending that much money up front, so therefore we can take the risk. Or we can risk more on unknown actors, because we don't need their star power to bring an audience. Since we're not spending that much money and we're hoping that the profits will come in after the fact, they can take a lot less risk instead of trying to force the movie into a narrative that they believe will make money. So the blockchain allows for all of this after the fact profit sharing. Because right now, trying to account for all of that, hundreds of people work on making a movie, and trying to do all the accounting on that is a lot of work. Where if we automate it with blockchain, the automation allows for multiple levels of payouts, multiple levels of micromanaging of these contracts for all the people that worked on it. So it's easier to pay them after the fact through the profits of the movie. I'm not sure exactly how this might work on physical products. Maybe some kind of QR code attached to the product, which actually could work. You take each individual component involved in the production of the overall product. Those individual components have QR codes, which is basically the NFT for a physical object. And when the primary product gets sold, the profits get shared amongst all the individual QR codes that make up the overall product, and that gets then distributed to all the people working on that product. So you could make it work with physical products. And so I would say this is like an ideal approach for what cryptocurrencies and blockchain and smart contracts and NFTs could potentially achieve as a new way of buying and selling products. And if you're interested, I could do a deep dive on maybe the technical implementation of this stuff and how to potentially build this in software, if that's of interest. But one last thing I'm going to throw in to this architecture, and that's the government, the evil government. They can add their own smart contract to this chain, and this smart contract will then allocate, taxes on profits and sales. And so you got a sales tax, you got the income tax for the owner, you got the profits for the company. I don't know, there's so many taxes that I don't know why they make it so complicated. They have to tax everything. But through this blockchain, they can automate the process of taxation. So that you no longer have to sit here and think about the taxes once a year. You don't have to sit here and keep track of all the things you've spent money on. You don't have to figure out what's taxable, what's not taxable. It just happens through the agreed upon smart contracts. And I'm going to throw this in here. What if we say each government proposal, each item within the government that is for taxes is itemized, and you pick and choose where your taxes go? Let's say road repair is one of the items. Local police is another item. Medical, sewage, water, forestry management, or the bigger scale stuff. We need military, we need electricity, and so you can pick and choose. And then they get their political agenda stuff, and you're like, I don't want to support your political agenda stuff. So it could be a good thing that taxation becomes part of cryptocurrency and this automated process, in the sense that it could break it down into the individual things that your taxes are going to, and you as the contributor of said taxes can directly pick and choose what you want your money to go towards, which in turn would be a direct vote, if you will. But then you have the other side of this where they just keep it one giant lump of taxation, and they don't tell you anything about what's going on, and they just automatically charge you more and more without you ever knowing about it. So good and bad going on with the taxation automation. But anyway, so there you go. My idea on how to approach this NFT, cryptocurrency, blockchain, smart contract environment, basically the digital currency revolution. Maybe it will go this way. Maybe the market will start to produce architectures like this. Maybe it won't. But I hope you found this informative, and thanks for watching. Until next time.